Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my cheating ex-wife's parents that I don't care about her anymore and she's not my problem? Original post. Me and my ex-wife, Mary, have been together for 7 years and married for 2. We waited to have babies because we wanted first to be financially stable, and after 2 years, we started trying to have a baby. So a few months passed by when I caught her cheating on me. I immediately told her that I want a divorce, and she went crazy trying to suggest couples therapy, to forgive her, to think wisely cause everyone makes mistakes, her words, and all this type of BS. But I was adamant in my decision. I never forgave anyone for cheating in my life and never would. Our divorce was quick, thanks to a prenup, but unfortunately very dramatic, because during the separation and even in court, Mary wouldn't stop crying and begging me to think back at my decision. Fortunately, like I said, it was quick, and I always thank God for the idea of the prenup, because it avoided a lot of other drama and discussion. I still have everything, and since she cheated on me, I didn't have to pay her anything. The thing is that, after I caught her cheating, I tried my best to cut all contacts with her and to talk with her only through my lawyer. And when finally the divorce was finalized, I changed my number and house to avoid any unnecessary and useless drama. 3 years passed by and I'm still trying to recover because it really hurt me deep and because I really loved her. But unfortunately, cheating is one of the few things I never forgave anyone for. Thanks to my therapist, I'm slowly recovering and getting better. Now, the issue is this. After my divorce, I didn't hear news from Mary, so I didn't know anything about her, her life, and anything else. And a few days ago, I found out, reluctantly, that she was in a horrible car accident and was hospitalized in serious conditions. I know this only because 2 days ago I bumped into Mary's parents at the supermarket, and they immediately told me this, even if I don't understand why. Then they said that it would be nice if I go to visit her at the hospital, because despite what happened between us, Mary was always an important part of my life. And I told them that I would never go visit her because Mary wasn't my problem anymore and I don't have to do anything for her. We started arguing, and I clearly told them that I don't care about Mary, her life, and what she is doing, because she cheated on me, breaking my trust. And they always justified her cheating, blaming me for what happened, so she can go to hell. Then I left. They reached out to my parents and told them what happened, and now my father and my sisters agree with me, while my mother is insisting that I was a huge a-hole. Because for how bad Mary hurt me, she was always my ex-wife, so a quick visit wouldn't change anything for me. My friends are divided on the issue, so here I am. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Anyone who blames you for your partner's cheating is a dumbass and their opinions are worthless, not a-hole. Mom gets thrown into that pile. Or OP's mother is projecting. I wonder if she cheated on OP's father in the past. She's what one calls a compassionate human being. I hope you meet one. I guess you're one of those cheater apologists. Not a-hole. Now, I'm sorry to say this, but your mother may be hiding something from your father. Was she very close to your ex? It's a bit of a worrying sign that your entire family's on your side and she's not. Yes, they're pretty close. Tell your mom that you're getting a DNA test for the entire family if she doesn't knock it off immediately. I guarantee she'll shut up right quick. Either way, don't fall for it. You have nothing else to worry about with this woman. If your mother insists too much, you'd better have a serious talk with her and your father. Just be careful how you speak at this moment. Mini update. I'm happy that the most of you are on my side. And I want to say honestly that I'm extremely resentful and I hold grudges. But that's my character. The story with my ex left a mark on me, and whatever is connected to her makes me angry and resentful like I never was. Because I really loved her, and divorcing was one of the most difficult things I ever did. If on the outside I appeared tough and strict, on the inside I thought a lot about Mary and the possibility of giving her another chance. But then I think about what she did to me and how badly I was in these 3 years, and my resentment grew more and more. With Mary's parents, I had a decent relationship because they were never happy about our relationship and were always skeptical for some reasons that I don't know. And the last thing is about my mother. At the moment, I thought nothing of what she said, but now that many of you told me about her thoughts of cheaters and cheating, I'm gonna have a talk with her and my father. Because it's understandable that my mom was close with Mary, but this episode is off, and when I will have a talk with her, I will update you. So again, thank you all and you restored a bit of hope in me. P.S. I'm dating a wonderful woman since a few months and I hope things will go smoothly. Now for the full update. First of all, I don't know if I hate you all or if I want to thank you for your suspicions on my mother's response. Right now, I'm more for I hate you all. I will try to make it as short as possible. So when a few days ago my mother told me her opinion on the issue with my ex, we were alone in the kitchen and my father wasn't there. But yesterday I had a talk with both of them about this because you were right. Her response was off, and it sounded like she had some issues with cheating. And I hate to admit it, but you were right. So I had a talk with both of them, and it turned out my mother used to cheat on my father with her ex for the first 2 years of their marriage. And when her ex came to stay in our city, she was about to divorce my father. But then her ex died in a tragic car accident with other people, and they both agreed for couples therapy, and it seemed like they sorted things out, but seems not. When my father learned my mother's opinion, he literally freaked out and yelled at her that she should be ashamed of her thoughts because of her past as a cheater, and because she knew how much hard work my father put in their marriage to not divorce her. My mother started crying crocodile tears, and my father knows her enough and in fact wasn't sorry for his harsh words. There was a lot of yelling and screaming, and my father told her that if these are her thoughts, he wanted divorce seriously this time. He yelled at her to pack her stuff and to leave his house. The house of my parents is my father's house legally. And after hours of crying, arguing, and shouting, she left and went to stay at her female best friend's house. I never knew about all of this, and neither my sisters, who heard my father shouting and they run down to see what was going on. And when they understood, they all went against my mother. Now the situation is this. My father is grateful to me for finally opening his eyes. My sisters now hates my mother, and my mother is blaming me for all this mess, and my family too. But how the heck is it my fault that my mother was a cheater and almost destroyed my parents' marriage? I mean, seriously? I never saw or heard once my father yelling, shouting, or being so angry at someone. And yesterday was the first time I saw him like that. My father has always been a giant teddy bear, and everyone always told me that he was the classic sweet giant. And seeing him this mad and angry like yesterday is something I never even imagined. So thanks to your suspicions, the situation is this, and it's all a freaking mess. None of that was your fault. Your mother did this to herself. Your father was trying to make it work, likely because of his kids. But to hear his wife support your cheating wife, you realized she was not truly remorseful about what she did in the past. She didn't learn anything. She had it coming. Your father is thankful for you for revealing this disgusting behavior from your mom. His choice to divorce her is on him, not you. Your mom is just mad her feelings were now forced out, but it was her that laid them out when she told you to support your ex-wife, regardless of what she did. Disgusting, worthless cheaters never truly change. Not only are they a crappy partner, but crappy human being and parents. Time to cut out the cancer. OP cut out the first one. Time for the last one and go no contact. She doesn't deserve to call herself mother after defending her son's betrayal and then betraying him directly. Your mother and Mary were cut from the same cloth. The whole cloth. Your mom is like the others. It's always someone else's fault. There is never consequences. It's never the cheater's fault. I can't tell you what to feel about your mom, but you know what your father is going through. Have you ever done a DNA test on you and your dad? I think you block your mom, and you and your dad are there for each other. I'd include your sisters as long as they don't talk about your mom. Your dad is probably destroyed with what you are going through, and he can't be strong for you. Next story. Am I the a-hole for lying to my ex and kicking her out of my house? I, 26 male, am a law school student and live in a major city. My ex-girlfriend Mindy was my high school sweetheart who stayed back in our small town to complete her degree. She moved to the city a year ago, and she lived in my apartment and she wanted her name to be added to the lease. I wasn't fully on board because she just moved here and things could happen. But she persisted, so what I did was I wrote up a sublease agreement. I knew she didn't know the difference, but she happily signed it and I kept it in my files. Today, Mindy told me she wanted to break up. I was confused because I thought our relationship was great. She said it was, but she just needed more time to be young and not tied down. Her best friend just moved to the city, and I know that's who talked her into this. I just said okay and asked her when she's moving out. She said she isn't moving out, and our agreement can be the same and she just moves into the spare room. I told her I'm not paying 75% of the rent anymore if we're not dating. I explained to her that this is now an equal roommate situation. She said she can't afford it and that she'll have nowhere else to go. I told her that's not my problem, and that she either pays 50% or leave. She said that I'm not the landlord and can't kick her out. I told her that she's wrong. I am actually her landlord, and that she didn't sign a lease agreement but a sublease, and that I have every right to kick her out. So I told her either she pays me 50% or she has 30 to back up and leave. She left the apartment and hasn't been back since. I got a text from her saying that she'll be back later to pick up her things, but that I'm a jerk for lying to her. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Or rather, you were just enough of an a-hole to make the correct move in this situation. She is ridiculous for expecting you to subsidize half of her rent for no reason after dumping you. And we know what it means that she wants to live her life in this case. It means she would be bringing home random people to hook up with at her ex's apartment. Imagine waking up to your high school sweetheart, now ex, screwing loudly in the next room. Yeah, no. Also, where was the lie? If she'd read what she signed, she'd already know all of this. Sounds like it's her fault for not reading, and she's blaming him because she didn't read. It's not his job to read it to her. What is she, 4? Not the a-hole. You were right to take the precaution, but also, did you realize her attitude with wanting to move in and get on the lease like that was a red flag? To be honest, I'm rather suspicious of the timing and her friends. It's possible she had some intent of forcing you out of that apartment and bringing her friends into it. She was entirely too quick to play the "I'm on the lease, you can't kick me" card. She probably planned to always have this as her backup plan. Is your apartment in a really good area or mind-bogglingly cheap? Because to me it sounds like she was after something and had a mind to screw you over somehow. There would have been a team strategy meeting. Her friends might have convinced her to be young and single, but she couldn't afford to live on her own, so they came up with the idea of getting on the lease, and then OP can't force her out. She was just stupid enough to think she could still do it for only 25% of the rent. Last story. Am I the a-hole for giving my brother's ex hurtful documents after his death? My brother Mark, 27 male, was married to a woman called Amanda, 29 female, but they divorced 2 years ago due to cheating on Mark's side. Mark defended himself and denied the cheating accusations and said it was an assault. But Amanda didn't believe him and said she thought it was a sick joke that he was trying to use something so horrific for sympathy. After the divorce, Mark went downhill and became even more depressed. He started going to therapy and got better for a while, but he took his own life 3 months ago. Mark and Amanda also have a kid who is 2.5. I was responsible for cleaning his stuff out, and I found 2 of those large brown envelopes addressed to myself and Amanda. Mine contained a sizable amount of cash, a letter from him, and a bunch of old photos from when we were kids. I got in contact with Amanda, who agreed to meet up. I gave her the envelope and said I had no idea what was in it. She opened it and started to sob. Inside her envelope was a police report, pictures of his bruises and marks, and what seemed to be a very hastily photocopied version of his kit that went into detail about his injuries. In his letter, he explained that the pain of not being believed by the love of his life was too much. Amanda was in shock and couldn't speak. She just shoved everything back into the envelope and walked out. She later texted me calling me a stupid callous witch for giving me the envelope, and how was she going to raise her son knowing what she did to his father. I apologized and said I had no idea what was in those letters, but she wasn't hearing it. She ended up letting our mom know about the documents and what I had done. Mom wasn't happy with me and even said, "I don't know why you gave Amanda those documents, that B would never believe him." She agreed that I shouldn't have given Amanda the envelope because she doesn't want to deal with Amanda and the aftermath of the situation. For context, Mark told our mom about it first and then Amanda. Mom fully believed him and got into some screaming matches with Amanda because of it. It's been a few weeks and I don't know if I did the right thing. Everyone that I spoke to, friends and family, said I shouldn't have given Amanda the documents. But I feel that since Mark went through the trouble of curating the evidence and didn't destroy them, he would want them to be known. Am I the a-hole? Edit. A lot of people are asking about if Amanda knew all the evidence, so I'm copy-pasting from a comment I made. My brother did tell and show Amanda the bruises and marks, but she didn't believe him. Without getting into too many details, he woke up in the hospital after a night out and had a kit done then. That was when he found out he had been SA'd. He had gotten drunk and Amanda assumed he had cheated while drunk and got into a fight, which is very out of character as he's not a violent man. He did tell Amanda, but she didn't believe him, And since our kids aren't just available for anyone, he didn't have that as proof. That's all I know. If I'm being honest, Mark could have shown her a video of it and she would have found a way to discredit him. Not a-hole. Truth always comes out eventually. You just fulfilled your brother's last wish. Dealing with the truth is your problem. I think that point is the most important. This is what Opie's brother wanted. This, 100%. It would have been highly inappropriate of Opie to snoop into something not addressed to them. They simply followed through on their late brother's desire for that envelope to reach his ex. The contents were purely for her, and if she didn't like it, that's not an Opie in any way. She is simply redirecting the anger she should be feeling at herself at Opie, so she doesn't have to feel as guilty as she should for blaming a victim and causing even more trauma for him and their child in the long run. You reap what you sow is one of my favorite lines. It's a firm and brutal truth of life. This is a rather tragic harvest, but one that is purely of her own making. These are her putrid crops to deal with. Not a-hole. When I lost my dad, I was handed an envelope of letters and things he kept from the time he left my mother and before he came back. I sat and looked through, and it was my mother's letters to him. They were very personal and revealed a lot about their relationship at a time. I felt sad, I had a pain in my chest, and I cried in public. Finding things out after death can be really hard, but my dad wanted me to have them. He saved my cards I sent him and even his divorce paperwork. He wanted me to know everything, but didn't know how to talk to me about it. I understood that he didn't want to hurt me. He wanted me to understand. That's what your brother wanted. He wanted his ex to know the truth, and it was right to hand that over. I truly believe that we should grant last wishes if at all possible, and this was. You also didn't know what was in there, so you were just following what he stated he wanted. She's angry because she's feeling guilt, and she can't yell at your brother. She had you there in front of her. She's reacting badly because she was wrong and contributed to what happened. Maybe she can't live with that, and that's why she's angry. But it's not your fault.